Hey guys, this is Chodaros, and today I am so happy to present a new loomer that is wanting to do tutorials. Loomer from Norway. She is a wonderful designer, and she is ready to put them out for the world. So this is her infamous trophy bracelet. It came out absolutely gorgeous. The color combo could not be any more perfect. And I'm not really good with color, so I had to say it. It is light, it's thin, and it's done on a hook. It lays completely flat. It is absolutely perfect. So, in order to fit my wrist, I used about 15 4mm or 6mm, I'm sorry. I believe there's 6. Let me see. Actually, these might actually be 4mm, but you can use 4, 6, and probably even 8mm beads because we are doing every other chain. First, you need to make your beaded chain, and it'll be every other band that has a bead. And so when we do a chain like that, we have more room for a larger bead, and it won't, crunch up like that. So 15 beads, and then I used 15 8mm jump rings on each side, so that would be 30 in total. Okay, so it is a fairly simple bracelet. There's only 2 steps to it. Again, adding a single chain first with every other band beaded, and then another step of adding the border to each side, which incorporates your jump ring. So well, first I'll tell you what if you would like to do these colors. These beads, I'm not sure if I got them, I think I already mentioned it in the tutorial. I think I got them at Michael's, but they're just a gold bead, and I use the black cylindric bands for my single chain, and I use the metallic purple for my center color, and for my border I use the they're the black, they're the real thick jet black bands. I can't remember the name of them, but all from rainbowloom.com web store. So grab your supplies, start your chain if need be, and we'll get started. Simplicity, there you go. These black ones are the Simplicity bands. Okay, let's grab our supplies and get started. Okay, so to start out, we need to do a single chain with every other band beaded. So I have the majority of mine done. I think I used about 14, let me measure. These are about between 4 and 6mm beads. So they didn't come on a string. I believe I might have purchased them at Michael's. They're just little gold balls. So I'm going to look them up and put them in the description when I'm finished here. So at the bottom, you want to start out, well, the way I do it, because I don't want my bling wrapped around I don't want my cap band wrapped around my bling. I always start out with a cap band and then a plain band pulled through, and then I take and I do my first beaded band. So that way your cap band isn't, it will be wrapped around that bead, and I don't, just my personal preference. Okay, and then we'll continue off of this one, just have a few more to do here, but very simple. Every other band is a bead. Now I'm using the black cylindric bands because sometimes I think more of color than I do of feasibility. So, but it works because I've already made it, and then I took it apart so I can make it again for this tutorial. So, and then if you're not familiar with beading a single chain, when you do put that bead through, you want to make sure that the right band is pulled over so that bead ends up in the middle. Okay, that's the only, and it's so minute, but that's the only thing. Just always want to make sure that we put that bead in the middle. Oops. So I think I have one last. And again, I'm going to put, no, that's not right. I needed to put a single band in there. Now I put my last bead. So, you know, the rule of thumb is always to chain it and fit it to your wrist, and that's how you'll know how many. But like I said, mine with doing every other bead came to 14. Okay, so after you're done with your single chain, grab a C-clip and just go ahead and clip up the end here. Okay. Make sure that everything is straight. It should automatically fall straight. Like sometimes you could have something like this. You don't really notice it, but if you kind of look at it, the bead's not in the center of the band. So you always want to make sure your bead's in the center of the band, and you can tell by looking at the sides. If you see one chain larger than the other, it's an indicator to kind of push it, but as long as you hold it up and it's straight, you're good to go. Alright, so we're going to work through the cap band. Okay, and there's only one step. I want to make sure you guys can see. There's only one step after this single chain. So what we do next, we'll do on both sides, but that'll be the end of it. So the colors I'm going to use are going to be the Simplicity Black, and I very, very much want to use these metallic or purple, but these are the new ones out of the mixed pack, and I have about 4 packs of the old ones, and they are not the same. So I don't know if I'll have enough. So I'm gonna start with them. I might have enough. Oh, I might actually have enough. Okay, so I'm gonna use the metallic purple, and then you're going to need jump rings. So the only jump rings that I have, let me make sure, these right here, they're 8mm jump rings. I suggest, I wouldn't go any higher than that. You could definitely go a higher size and bead. You could go into a 8mm bead or so, definitely do that. But as far as the jump ring, I think even a smaller one might even work well too. Okay, so we aren't going to go into that cap band. We're going into the first, where your first one is your beaded band here, because our cap band, we're going into this first band where you see that bead. And you're going into the one side. So you're going into the side closest to you. So you have the chain on the top, the side, and then there's the back. We're going to go in this front one here. Let me move all this out of the way. Just like to put a couple. Okay, it's not difficult once you get used to it. It's super simple. You get the hang of it. So just for this first one, we're just going to add a couple bands. This isn't the sequence, but we're going to add one middle color, so the color you want down the center, another middle color, just chain 2, and then we're going to add our border color that we want, which you just chain another. So to start the bracelet out, we're chaining 3. Okay, so we're going to skip a link, and then we're going to go into the next front band there, which will be the ones with the beads. Let's go in the ones, I'm sorry. I apologize to, I have to apologize if this is not possibly the correct way, but I think I am going to start in one side of the cap band, to be honest with you. And that way we could bead, oh, no, this was correct. We skipped, that's the beaded, okay, I'm sorry. We are going to do that because we need to bead the bands that don't have a bead, or we need to loom on the bands that don't have a bead. So my apologies. So you just chain 2 of this middle color and then 1 of the outer color. Okay, and then when we skip a link, this one right here, and then we go into this next link, it actually is the plain band, so that's perfect. Okay, so this is what's going to start our sequence. We're going to put a band just through the chained, that in my case, the black band there, okay? But before we close it up, we want to go back and we want to recapture that band from the chain. Then we want to close it up. So your band may be a little bit loose, so you can take it and kind of push it down like that and kind of hold it there, because we're going to take another one of your middle color. From now on, my middle color I'm going to reference as purple and my border black, so that way you guys can maybe understand better. Now we're going to pull that purple band through all of the bands on our hook except the last one. Okay, now we're going to close this up. So that's what you should have. And so this is the point where we're going to add our jump ring. So you can do this in a couple ways, whichever is easiest for you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my jump ring and hold it in between my thumb and my second finger. Then my thumb and my first finger, I'm going to take my first 2 bands, which are the purple ones. I'm going to pinch them and pull them off of my hook. And then I kind of slide my hand around to put that jump ring on. And then I slide these 2 bands back. If you have an easier way, by all means use it. Using a second hook will work as well. So now we're going to take another one of our center colors, so another purple, and we're going to pull everything on our hook. So the first 2 bands, the jump ring, and the last band. Okay, so we have 4 items, we'll say. 3 bands and a jump ring on our hook. So before we close it up, we want to go back through and re-grab that jump ring, then close up our bracelet like that. And so our last step is to take our border color, which is black for me, and we want to pull all 3, the loop, the jump ring, and the last loop on top of this black band and close it up. So that is the sequence. So again, we're going to skip a chain and go into the front of the next chain. So you have your 2 existing bands back here, and then you have your one from your single chain on. So we take a middle color and we're just pulling it through our chain. But then we have to go back and go back under that chain and close it up. So the band's going to be loose, so we just want to kind of hold it, slide it down a bit so it kind of stays in place. Now we grab another center color and we want to pull the first, the second, the third, and the fourth bands on top of that new band. So this is going to be a little bit loose, so you can just kind of adjust it. Okay, so then our next step is to grab our, what do you call it? Jump ring. So that's not going to work either. Well, I guess it would. You could just kind of pinch it. Anyway, you can find, but you got to take the first two off and get that jump ring in between your blast band and the second band. So then we take our center color and we're pulling everything on top of this new band, but then we're going to go and recapture the top of that jump ring, then close it up like that. So once we have the jump ring and two bands, that's the time we use our border color to complete the step. Like that. So that's what you should have. You're going to have a little bit of space there, obviously, because we're doing every other. So I like to do it from the side. You don't have to do it from the side. So again, we skip a chain, which is the bead, and then we go into the next. Now, one thing that I like to pay attention to is which way I'm going into this chain band. I'm going from the bottom up, and that makes a difference, because if I was going from the top down, your stitch will be different. You'll be stitching the back side or the front side, whichever. I just pay attention, because when I turn my bracelet to do the other side, I know I have to do the opposite. Okay, so again, we grab our center color, pull it through, recapture that chain, and close it up. Another band. You pull the first four bands, leaving the last. Close it up. Grab your jump ring. Pinch the first two bands. Put that jump ring on, replace the last two bands there, and then grab another center color, and we pull everything on our hook on top. Before we close it up, we want to recapture that cap band, close it up. Then we take our border color and pull the band, jump ring, and band on top. So I think once you get the hang of it, it is pretty simple. Okay, so I'll do a couple more with you. I'm going to speed up a little bit. Just make sure that you're skipping links. Got one band caught. So when you're doing this step and that band is really loose, and it also depends on what type of band you're using, always make sure that it's in the correct order when you go to pick and place your next band. So you want it to be, in my case, purple, black, purple. See, this works out perfect. It's not crunched or squeezed in. It's perfect. It's a really nice, very nice design. Very much like it. And it's really not hard, in my opinion. Okay, I'm going to do one more and then we'll go off on our owns and finish the side up. Okay, so just have about half done. I'm super love the colors. It does take me, honestly, like sometimes like a day or two reading through color combos and palettes to try to figure out, excuse me, what colors to use, because my goal is always to make my bracelet to not look like a rubber band bracelet. So let's go ahead and finish up our last few beads, and I'll meet you up here at the C-clip. Alright, so we are up at the end of the bracelet, and you have two options. One, you can slip knot this and stick one band in this original C-clip we had up here. Like that. Or you can place both of those bands in that C-clip. So this is what you should have so far. I'm so happy that it sits completely flat. That is bravo. Great. So we're going to do the same on the opposite side and we'll be finished. And the other thing I'm happy about is that it still fits my wrist. I could have added maybe 2 more bands. Actually, here's the deal. We can add more bands. I actually am going to, because it's just a tad snug. If yours happens to be like that, just watch that band over there. If yours happens to be like this, and you kind of notice it's a little bit snug, we have the option right now to go ahead and add a couple extra bands. So I am actually going to do so. Sorry about that, but I guess it's good because you guys can see if that happened to you. And then one more, that should be good. Okay, so I'm going to put my C-clip back in here. and add this other band. Oops, I can't do that. I have to make a couple more. Oh, I'm so sorry. Let me hurry up and do that. So I need to unslip knot this and then go into this one, and I will hurry. I actually found an easier way to add on this jump ring that I'll show you for the other side. Well, let's see, I have to do one more stitch so I can show you this time. Okay, so when you get time here to add your border band, pull all of your bands through. Then before you close it up, you can actually add your jump ring right now. What did I do? You can actually add it right now, because when we go to do this next stitch, we pull over the first, the second, the third, and then the fourth. And we leave that last band. So we can actually put that jump ring on earlier, and now it's already set to go. To me, it seems a lot easier to do it like that. So let me pull my last bands through. And voila. Now I'm complete, so I am going to slip knot. Slip knot that and then stick that in my C-clip. There. Perfecto. Okay, so the only way I found easiest to do the other side is to actually do it from the bottom, from the top down, like Suzanne had taught me and Loves to Loom does. So just make sure that you're starting in the same place. So this side of the bracelet is the back, okay? And it's the back because, see, on the front we have the single chain in the middle. We have that one band showing, okay? So that's how you know it's the front. And so when we turn it over, that's the back. So for this one, I want to do the same thing. Is I want to grab the first band. So remember, we have our chain here, and we want to grab this band, the first one. And I'm sticking my hook up through, and we're going to repeat the process where we put 2 center band colors in, and then we take and put a border band through. And I'm going to hold it as I did the last time. So I'm going to skip a band and go in. All right, I got to make sure that this is right. Yep. And that one is next. Okay, so same as before, pulling through that band, making sure they all stay in this right place. Now, just this first time, I have to add my jump ring like that, but I'm going to change it and do it the other way next time. Oops. So center band color goes through everything. Reclaim that jump ring, close it up, and then add your last band. But before we close up, optional, you can put your C-clip or your jump ring on. Okay, so with me working down like this, it's going to give me the same pattern on this side. So again, we're going to skip the next, put our band through, reclaim that chain band, pulling the 4 bands in place. See, that band may move around on you, so you can kind of pull it to where it needs to be. Okay, so we already, I'm sorry, I'm trying to make sure that I'm in range. Okay, so we already have that jump ring in place. Then we just take and pull our next band through everything on our hook. Reclaim, close it up. Wrong kind of band. And add our last band. And then put our jump ring on, close it up. Okay, so skip one. I'll do this last one and then I think you guys are good to go. Same exact steps. Oh, I always get some type of band caught. All right, look at these colors. Boy, oh boy. All right, let's go ahead and loom up this side and we will meet back at our C-clip. All right, we are at the end. So we can do what we did on the other side, which is just slip knot this and it's always such a challenge for me to put a band in a C-clip. Like that. And voila, I am in love. What beautiful colors. I am just impressed. This is a wonderful design. Oh, yay. So I hope that your rendition came out to your satisfactory. She surely did a wonderful job on this bracelet. And I'm very honored to be asked to do the tutorial. So please hashtag us your renditions and make sure that you stay tuned because I have some more of these designs coming up, and I think you guys are going to be quite happy with them as well. So again, thanks so much for joining, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.